Astra, a very powerful weapon. And so knowing that Uttara is in family way, Ashwatthama decides to do something. What will he do? Listen, it tells us. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo.
Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Siyavar Ram.
जब अश्वत्थामा की ब्रह्मास्त्र निषाद करने वाले और वह अपनी का माता गर्भी का भगवान कृष्ण की दांडव बचे गया होते करने रक्षा हो श्री नारायण वचन करने वाले जिसमें पहले के भगवान कृपा निदान होते, कृपा निदान करने होते. Ashwatthama, he uses his brahmastra and he aims it in the direction of Uttara, with the hope of this astra destroying not Uttara, but destroying the fetus in the womb of Uttara. And so the fetus in the womb, will you consider the fetus in the womb to be sinful or pure? Hello? Were you born into the world with sin, or did you come pure? I don't know. I don't know what your interpretation of that is, but I have an interpretation. They say you were born without sin and you came into the world, but then when you are suffering, they say it's because of your karma in your past life. Then how will karma affect you after you are born, but then when you were born pure and clean and with a clean slate? Then we are contradicting what we say. Then we are contradicting what we believe. This cycle of the soul never ends unless there is mukti, unless there is salvation. And so, aiming the astra, shooting the astra in the direction of Uttara, what will happen? Uttara, she knows that something is wrong. But what will happen? Uttara is pure and she is noble and she is divine and she is godlike. Can we use those words to describe ourselves? Pure, noble, godlike. When we see each other, we say, oh God, isn't it? You're reminded of God. And so Uttara, being noble and pious as she is, Bhagwan Vishnu sees what is happening. And so what will he do? Listen, Lord Vishnu intervenes. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo.
Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Siyavar Ram.
Bolo. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Siyavar Ram.
Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Siyavar Ram.
जो देख जिसमें का शिशु का रक्षा करने वाले भगवान विष्णु के कृष्णा रूप करने वाले देखो जिसमें का पहले विष्णु धारण से संचित करने वाले ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. In the womb of Uttara, Bhagwan Vishnu, he goes and he manifests himself, and so he creates a shield around the womb of Uttara, and creating this shield, he is protecting the unborn baby from the weapon that was shot. What does the Garuda Puran say or tell us about what happens to the fetus in the womb? What does it say? It says that in the womb of our mother, there are many experiences that are experienced. The Garuda Puran says, the soul recognizes as it enters into the fetus in the womb that it is being shielded by Bhagwan, by God. But the soul recognizes that the womb is very dark. There are two places very dark, you know. The womb and the tomb. Have you given thought to that? The womb is very dark and the tomb is very dark. Unless you probably get somebody to hook up a solar light for you down there. But then how you will know when it goes dead? Dead like you too. And so in the womb, the soul begs. Every one of us, our soul begs. You know what our soul says? Set me free, set me free. I do not want to be trapped in here, set me free. The Garupuran says, the soul makes many vows and promises to Bhagwan Vishnu. Bhagwan Vishnu, who you can identify, who you can see, whom you recognize. The soul says, set me free, and when I come into the world, I will do seva. Set me free, and when I come into the world, I will sing your praises and I will worship you. Set me free, and every breath that I take, I will remember you. But the Garupuran says that from the time you make that first cry, you forget all those promises. It's like the government never paved no road in all the years, and 1 month before the election you see smooth road and you go and vote them back. But you see road and you vote based on that, but you still can't afford food, and you're still paying tax that you can't afford, and you're still living, actually surviving with little or nothing, not living. But you get fooled. You're fooled. And so in the womb, it says every one of us, our soul prays to Bhagwan Vishnu. And what do we say to Lord Vishnu? Hari Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Hari Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Sing with me, everybody. Hari Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Hari Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Bhagwan Vishnu entering into the womb of Uttara, Bhagwan Vishnu begins to shield this unborn baby. And so shielding the unborn baby spends a lot of time in conversation with Bhagwan Vishnu. Isn't it strange? Unborn spending a lot of time with Bhagwan, but born, and the minute you hear God and prayers and temple and puja and mosque and church, headache, knee pain, no clothes to wear, no ride. The minute you hear party, fete, wedding, farewell, cooking night, you didn't get invited and you still reach first. Strange. Isn't it strange? The minute you hear Thursday satsang, you already know Thursday you have a fever. You already know. You already know Thursday the children will work late. Because that is no priority. There are many temples, and there are many churches, and there are many mosques that you could check the amount of people that attend on finger. They are just buildings and structures. A murti doesn't make it a temple or a mandir. Do you know that? Not because there are murtis there means that that is a temple or a mandir. But it's you attending and going to that place and praising and eulogizing Bhagwan that makes that into a temple, a place of worship. The minute you hear temple and you hear murti, everybody wants to rush to buy a murti, isn't it? And then you go and you put it down. And that's exactly what you do, you know. Put it down. Because you never go there to look for the murti. You never bathe the murti, you never buy clothes for the murti, you never do anything for the murti. You don't know if the murti, there is a lighting in front of the murti, you know nothing. A stranger has to go and light a lamp in front of the murti that you put there. And that's what you did, eh? You put it there. For generations before you, and generations after you receive merits out of the actions that you have performed. The Bhagwat Katha says that 7 generations before us and 7 generations after us received the merits out of us performing this kind of yajna. And so, having a lot of conversation, Bhagwan Vishnu protected the child in the womb. And Bhagwan Vishnu took the form of Krishna while protecting the child. The child could see and recognize Krishna. And so, as a child was born, this child will now be the grandson of a being whose name is Arjuna. Arjuna, whose name is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. And so this child being born, what will happen? Listen, it tells us. Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
ब्राह्मणों की वानप्रस्थे किया उनकार का नाम विष्णु रखा का जानते चरते हैं. The Brahmanas, the holy beings, they were surprised that this baby survived the astra. For they all knew what had happened. And no news spread like bad news. You all know that? Something could happen and you'll never know, isn't it? Something bad happened. I'll give you an example. You came here this evening and you're looking very beautiful. Chances are nobody will recognize you. But if there is a hole in your outfit, everybody will remember you every time they see you. That's the lady who had the burrs in her dress. If the sole from your shoe falls out and you have to hop and walk, everybody will remember you. That is happy. Huh? But if that didn't happen, then nobody remembers you. Isn't that true? Isn't that a fact? Everybody knows that the astra would have been shot. And everybody knows that by some kind of jadoo, some kind of magic, some kind of miracle, this child was protected in the womb. And the only thing that they can think about is that this child was protected by Bhagwan Vishnu. So when the Brahmanas came to give the name to the child, now listen, the Brahmanas came to give the name to the child. We name the children because we like the name. Shahrukh. We like the name. But what is the symbolism behind the name? What is the energy behind the name? Nobody knows, isn't it? And so, they named the child Vishnurat. Vishnurat means the one who was protected in the womb by Bhagwan Vishnu. Vishnurat. They named him. And so naming him this, what will happen? Listen, it tells us. Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
श्री परमात्मने नमः. बच्चा उचरे का गर्भे का जिसमें कृष्णा की मिलन होते करने वाले, कृष्णा की संपत्ति का हो गए तथा करने वाले, हो गया तथे करने वाले. In the womb of his mother, Vishnurat developed a very close relationship with Bhagwan Krishna. But when Vishnurat was born, Vishnurat, he now started to search for that being that he met in the womb of his mother. He started to search for that being. And so everybody he will come into contact with, he will question them and try to have the very same questions and discussions that he had while in the womb of the mother, to see if he will meet with this Krishna again. Have you ever met with somebody nice? And you take it for granted that the next time you go to that place that you're going to, you'll meet somebody nice again. And you go and you meet somebody totally opposite. A security guard in the hospital, they are the worst. I say that with no apology. You're already frustrated because you have sick relatives. You're already frustrated because you don't know what is happening. You're already frustrated because just getting to the hospital is a frustration. And then you go and you meet these loving people who have no consideration. I don't know if they are trained that way, or if they choose a bunch of people who are born under the same sign and moon. I don't know what criteria they use to hire these people. I have no clue. But I have never met a nice one before. I don't know about you. And that's a fact, it's the truth. I go in the night to read the Gita in Mount Hope for my uncle a few days ago. And I look at the security and I said, well, he's very sick, and the doctors asked that the Pandit comes, so I'm here to read the Gita. How I know you're a Pandit? And I'm wearing a kurta and a dhoti. I said, well, do I look like I'm playing juvie? Well, how will I know you're a Pandit? Well, if you're a Pandit, you could say the prayers from here and it will reach him there. I say, be careful, because I know the prayers. And be careful, I stand here and I say the prayers, and what's supposed to happen to him happened to you. And she smiled, but it is a fact. It is the truth. She's saying, if God is powerful, why don't you stand right here and pray? Why do you have to go to his bedside? And such is the inconsideration. My aunt just left to go to London, and I'm saying that, why don't you carry some anchar? And why don't you carry some red mango? And she said, no, last time I went, they take everything and they throw it away. And so I don't want to carry nothing to get in trouble. I called her today and I said, how was the trip? She said, no, they didn't check me. I could have well bring the mango. I could have well carried the anchar. Son, they didn't check me at all. And I afraid, and I didn't carry anything. I said, good for you. She said, meet somebody nice. Not every time we'll meet somebody nice. Not every time we'll come into contact with somebody who is truthful. Not every time we will build relationship with people who really love or consider you the way you consider them. But it doesn't define who you are. Those things define who they are. You must continue to be the best you that you can be. And that's a lesson I'm learning now. For myself. He questions every being around, trying to find Krishna, trying to find this being that he met in the womb. And so, unable to do this, what will happen? Listen, it tells us, Hari Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana. Jai Govind Hari Narayan Sri Narayan Jai Gopal Hari Narayan Narayan Jai Govind Hari Narayan Sri Narayan Jai Gopal Hari
Narayana Jai Govind Hari Narayana Sri Narayana Jai Gopal Hari
Narayana Narayana Jai Govind Hari Narayana Sri Narayana Jai Gopal Hari
Narayana Narayana Jai Govind Hari
नारायण जय गोविंद हरे नारायण श्री नारायण जय गोपाल हरे
नारायण नारायण जय गोविंद हरे नारायण श्री नारायण जय गोपाल हरे
हस्ता प्रक्षालनम ओमा पवित्र पवित्र वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा स्मरेत पुंडरीकाक्ष स्वाह्यं तरसुचि हस्ता प्रक्षालनम means that you are going to wash your hands. ओम श्री केशवाय केशवाय नमः ओम माधवाय माधवाय नमः ओम मधुसूदनाय मधुसूदनाय नमः ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय कुशस्थितो ब्रह्मा कुशमरी जनाधर कुशस्थितो देवात्रयो देवा कुशस्थितां पवित्रेस्तु वैष्णव्यो सवितो त्रिना नमो नमः ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Taking flowers in hand, we propitiate worship the Bhagwan Vishnu once more. And so we pray, O Bhagwan Vishnu, this morning with faith and with conviction, we bow at your lotus-like feet. Listen to our prayer. Hari Om Sri Ganesha Namah Sri Saraswate Namah Sri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Govinda Namo Namah Shuklam Varadam Deva Shashi Varnam Chaturbhuja Prasanna Varnam Jayet Sarva Viganopashantaye Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu Mangalam Garudatvaja Mangalam Pundarikaksha Mangalaya Tanuhari Sri Lakshmi Narayan Bhagavani Ki Jai. We offer flowers. We sprinkle water on all the ingredients as we pray for purification. Oma Pavitra Pavitra Sarvavastam Gatopya Yasmarit Pundarikaksha Savahayam Tara Suji Savahayam Tara Suji. We ignite the flame in our tears. Om Deepa Jyotir Para Brahma Deepa Jyotir Janadhara Deepo Haratame Papam Deepo Yambrate Gretam Shubham Karotu Kalyanam Arogyam Sukhasam Param Mama Shatru Vinashaya Deepa Jyotir Namostute. If perchance your diya is already lighting, then it is because of the Pandit. And so there are diyas that should not go out, and so I specifically kept some of those diyas lighting for the entire night. And so it is because of me. Vrindavan Vyanilane ki jai. We offer water as we bathe our murtis. Om Gangesha Yamunisha Va Godavari Saraswati Narmada Sindhu Kaveri Snanam Vidyoga Snanam Samarpyami. We offer the milk. Om Papuham Papakarmam Papatmam Pundarikaksha Trahimam Pundarikaksha Sarva Papa Harohani. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vrindavan Lal ki jai. We offer clothing to Bhagwan. Ved Suktam Svayuktam Yagya Shama Samanvite Sarve Prade Deva Vasase Prati Gretam Sarva Bhushat Kelomya Lakjani Varana Mayupakar Vasra Upavasra Prati Gretam. We offer the Yagya Upavit. Om Trayambakam Yajamayi Sugandim Pushti Vardanam Urvarukamiva Bandana Prityur Mukshamamritan Yagyopavitadanam Samarpyami Yagyopavitadanam Prati Gretam. We adorn the devatas with chandan and perfume. ॐ श्रीकण्डचन्दनं दिव्यगण्डार्यो सुमनोहर विलेपनां सुरश्रेष्ठां चन्दनं प्रतिग्रहीतां कस्तूरीतिलकङ्गलाटपतले वक्षस्ते कौस्तुभ्यं श्रीचन्दनं महं करिष्ये चन्दनं प्रतिग्रहीतां ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
With a perfume. ॐ घण्डस्त्वामिन्द्रस्त्वां बृहस्पति वनस्पतिरसुरभूतो गण्डार्यो गणरूतमाग्रे सर्वदेवानां धूपोऽयं प्रतिगृहीतां धूपोऽयं समर्पयामि परिमलद्रव्या। With a hardy for purification. ॐ हरिद्राय सर्वसौभाग्यदायिनि सर्वालङ्कारमुक्तामि देवी त्वं प्रतिगृहीतां देवी त्वं प्रतिगृहीतां कुङ्कुमं कान्तिं दिव्यकामिनी कामार्थसम्भव कुङ्कुमम् अर्चितं देवा प्रसिद्ध पुरुषोत्तम। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। We offer sindoor, praying for mukti, salvation. सिन्धूरं शोभनं रक्ते सौभाग्ये प्रियवर्धनं सूक्रं कामरं मोक्षरं चैव सिन्धूरं प्रतिगृहीतां सिन्धूरं समर्पयामि। We offer strands of dukkhas. May you root away all our troubles, all our problems. काण्डात् पुरो हन्ते पुरुका पुरुषस्परे वानो दुर्वे प्रतानो नाशते न जाते कोमलदानं समर्पयामि। गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपीस्तजम्बूफलसारभक्षुतम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारिकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरे पारिपङ्कजं दुर्वदानं समर्पयामि। We offer pain reliefs. ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय।
ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय।
We offer daily please. ॐ जयन्ती काली मंगला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा दात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु दयारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। ओ दुर्गा भवानी मां जय जय अम्बे मां।
दुर्गा भवानी मां जय जय अम्बे मां।
ओ दुर्गा भवानी मां जय जय अम्बे मां।
दुर्गा भवानी मां जय जय अम्बे मां।
मल्लित्यादिनी सुगन्धिनी मल्लित्यादिनी वे प्रभो मायाटानि पूजाटं पुष्पाणि प्रतिगृहीतां श्रीपुष्पदानं समर्पयामि। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। कानिकपालिनी मां जय जय अम्बे मां। जगदोदारिणी मां जय जय देवी मां।
जगदोदारिणी मां जय जय देवी मां।
जगदोदारिणी मां जय जय अम्बे मां।
जगदोदारिणी
माँ।
दुर्गा भवानी माँ,
विविध आरती।
जय जय अम्बे माँ।
सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वत वासिनी, तेरा पारन पाया, तेरा पारन पाया।
सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वत वासिनी, तेरा पारन पाया, तेरा पारन पाया।
ओम ज्ञानी कानि च पापानि जन्मन्तर्गतानि तानि तानि प्रक्षणा प्रक्षणा प्रदे प्रदे दीपं दर्शयामि। लाइक दिस। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। लाइक दिस। ओम नमो भगवते आंटी आंजी वासुदेवाय। लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की जय। We offer flowers around the diya. सिद्धि बुद्धि प्रणे देवी, भुक्ति मुक्ति प्रदायिनी, मंत्र मूर्ति सदा देवी, महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते, महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते। सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वत वासिनी, तेरा पारन पाया, तेरा पारन पाया। बोलो।
सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वत वासिनी, तेरा पारन पाया, तेरा पारन पाया।
Naivedyam. We prepare to offer Parsad. The Parsad that we prepared with faith, with love and with devotion. O Bhagwan, may you accept our worship. We beg of you, listen to our prayer. Om Vishwam Vishnu Vishwakarta Vishwabhyama Bhaktaneva Bhaktanata Bhavaya Bhutatma Bhutavaya Namaha Uttamam Pratamam Muktadevam Argyam Prushte Sakshi Deva Namah Antikaraya Yogaya Nugavidya Namah Paramatmane Namah Narasimha Namah Sridhara Namah Keshava Namah Madhava Namah Madhusundara Namah Purushottama Namah Sarva Namah Sharva Namah Shiva Namah Santu Namah Buddha Namah Nitya Namah Ava Namah Shambhave Namah Bhava Namah Bharata Namah Parva Namah Prabhu Namah Ishvara Namah Satyabhava Namah Shambhu Namah Ditya Namah Pushtakarte Namah Mahashva Namah Andikara Namah Date Namah Vinte Namah Dutarata Namah Ampa Namah Hiranyaksha Namah Parva Namah Parma Prabhu Namah Atmadeva Namah Brahmarpanam Brahmaved Brahmaganu Brahmanahutam Brahmagatina Gantavyam Brahmakarma Samadhinam Om Naivedam Nivedayami Naivedam Samarpayami Om Brahma Astu Krishna Arpanam Lakshmi Narayan Bhagavan ki Jai. Now touch your parsad and touch it to your forehead. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Shri Paramatmani Namah. We offer the parsad at the feet of Bhagwan. Om Naivedam Nivedayami. Just rest your thali in front of him. Om Shri Paramatmani Namah. Tambul. Om Pungi Palamya Deva Nagamani Yukta Hilal Chunatam Tambulam Prati Gretam Clove Lavang Karpur Sanyuktam Tambulam Surpujite Tambulam Prati Gretam Achman Om Achmanamya Datta Krihana Parameshwara Achmanam Samarpayami Dakshina Hiranyagharva Samavartatagre Utasya Jata Patirikayasi Saradharam Prithvim Namaha Dakshinadhanam Aham Karikshi Dakshinadhanam Samarpyami Pushpadan मल्लित्यादिनी सुगन्धिनी कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सेतं नमामि। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We join in expressions of welcome this morning. Sri Paramatmani Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Sitaram, everyone. And I want to say a special welcome to you all. Even you brave this inclement weather for being here. We ask that you join us for our fourth session of our Bhagwat Saptaha. And we ask that you sit and enjoy our Ved Vyasi Pandit Sunil Seetahal Maharaj and his discourse, as it's always been educational for each and every one. I thank you and ask that you sit back and enjoy our proceedings.
वृंदावन में अनिलाल की जय। करा हो जाए आरती लीजिए। शुभम करोतु कल्याणम आरोग्यम सुखसंपरम मम शत्रु विनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते। जय 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 भागवतम। जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम। जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम। जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम। जय 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 भागवतम।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये अमर गंतये मुक्ति पंतये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही। जग की मंगल की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला। हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों का मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
हे सुख करनी हे दुख हरनी,
ये सुख करने ये दुख हरने,
ये मधुसूदन की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत कोल, सन्मान दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत खोल, सन्मान दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही,
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही,
सबके महिमा की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय,
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय,
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय,
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय,
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 नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय,
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय,
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय,
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय।
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय। उमापति महादेव की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। आसन पर बैठे, let us all please be seated. We pay obeisance at the lotus-like feet of all our Brahman Devatas, and so we welcome all of you who have joined with us this morning. And so to those of you who are viewing us, we say thank you for allowing us to enter into your home this morning. To kind and corporate sponsors, we express sentiments of gratitude and expressions of thanks. And so, session 4 already. Let us bow our heads in prayer as we chant mantras of invocation. Hari Om Gam Ganapataye Namah. Hari Om Aim Saraswate Namah. Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Varnanamrit Sanganam Rasanam Chandrasamape Mangalanam Chakaritaro Vande Vani Vinayako Bhavani Shankaro Vande Shraddha Vishwaswarupino Yabhyam Vinana Pashante Siddha Swantastamishwaram. Bhagwat Sumiran. Riddhi Siddhi Data Siddha Saranya Varanya Varena Sumiro Barambar Madan Karane Ki Laal Ko. पति कृपा निदान, ज्ञान कानि आनंद भवन, देहु मोहि वरदान, वरनो पाशा भागवता। जय शिवानंद कंद, भूतनाथ बौबे हरना, भक्ति विषय निर्वाण, गौरवरन मंगल करिना। हे ब्रज चंद्र मुकुंद, ब्रजभूषण दूषण हरिना, कठो भाव बैठन, चरण शरण नी आनि करा। जय 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 जगदीश, श्वेत शेष महेश यजा, महिमा मितय वेद, वेद वेद जानत नहीं। देहु मोहि वरदान, राधा वदय वद सदा, प्रेम बरे मुस्कान, नित चित में कटे कटे रहे। मोहि चाहिए कचुना, और वास्तु प्रभु जग की, बस ही रे मन मान, या भाकी जानकी सदा। नील कुटिया गायन की पीछे फिरता, ग्वाल पाल लीसा, मोर मुकुट सिर परे दरे। कर मुरली उर्मान, शेष मुकुट के पीठ पता, ग्वाल पाल लीसा, मोर मुकुट सिर परे दरे। कर मुरली उर्मान, शेष मुकुट के पीठ पता, या छवि सो नंदला, बस हुए दे ममऋषि देवा। Adoration is the debate of Sri Sukdev Muni, the narrator of the Bhagavad Katha, referred to as the Guru, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Guru Pararaj Darshi, करहु भागवत की कथा, जो सुकरेव मुनि कई परीक्षित निरपति सोय। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, बरनो रघुवर विमन यश,
जोधायक फलचार,
बोधहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बूट विद्या देहु मोहि,
हरहु कलेश विकार,
वृंदावन कृष्ण चंद्र जी की जय शरणम। Let us clap our hands. Let us sing as we make a joyful noise unto Bhagwan. चित्त चोदा यशोदा की बान, नवनीत चोरे गोपाल,
चित्त चोरा यशोदा की बार, नवनीत चोर गोपाल,
चित्त चोदा यशोदा की बान, नवनीत चोरे गोपाल,
चित्त चोरा यशोदा की बार, नवनीत चोर गोपाल,
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला,
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला,
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला,
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला,
चित चोदा यशोदा की बान, नवनीत चोर गोपाल,
चित चोरा यशोदा की बार, नवनीत चोर गोपाल,
नवनीत चोर गोपाल,
नवनीत चोर गोपाल,
नवनीत चोर गोपाल।
नवनीत चोर गोपाल।
Last night we ended by singing a few lines of a beautiful rendition depicting the entire epic of the Bhagwat Mahapuran. Can you all remember? सुखदेव कही मुनि ज्ञानी, सुनो भूप भागवत भानी, सुखदेव कही मुनि ज्ञानी, सुनो भूप भागवत वाणी. This morning our katha begins in that place where Raja Pariksit has now been given the news that he has 7 days to live. Having these 7 days, Raja Pariksit has to prepare himself. He has to prepare himself not to live but to die. Does that make sense? He has to prepare himself not to live but for death. Have we given thought that every day that goes by and every minute that goes by, we're dying slowly but surely? Have you given thought to that? In the very same Bhagwat Mahapuran, one day Narad Muni, the celestial sage, after spending an extensive time down on the earth, Narad Muni stood in front of Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu says, Narad, tell me, what is the most amazing thing you have experienced while down on the earth? And Narad Muni pondered, he scratched his hair, he looked at Lord Vishnu and he says, if I tell you, you will laugh. And Lord Vishnu says, I am eager. Tell me, what is the most amazing thing you have seen on the earth? What is the most amazing thing you have experienced in your lifetime? Narad Muni says, the most amazing thing is how the dying cry for the dead. I've seen the dying cry for the dead. And so they have not given thought that they too will die. And so Bhagwan Vishnu, this is the most amazing thing I have seen. Sukdev Muni, he begins to tell the katha to Raja Pariksit. But before he begins to tell the katha, Raja Pariksit sits and trying now to absorb what is being fed to him. The news of death. Raja Pariksit sits and he begins to reflect. He begins to think about an experience and something that had happened to him in the past. Because of what has happened to us in the past, we grow from that. We become better. We are supposed to become stronger. But Raja Pariksit reflecting on an encounter that he had in the past, Raja Pariksit sits there and Raja Pariksit, tears begins to stream from his eyes. Sometimes memories from the past makes you smile. And sometimes memories from the past make you cry, isn't it? Memories from the past can make you happy, but memories from the past can make you miserable, isn't it? It is important not to live in the past, but to live in the... But it is difficult sometimes to forget. It is sometimes difficult to leave the past in the past. But then leaving the past in the past is a trait of being a strong person. Then I think I'm weak. I'm weak. I don't know about you. And so I'm on the pathway of gaining strength. And we are all on the pathway of gaining strength. Sukdev Muni, as he is about to narrate, Raja Pariksit sits and he takes time to reflect. This morning we had a choice if we will get off our bed, because there is thunder, lightning and rain. The mind is designed in a way that once the weather is like this, the only thing you think about is what? Hello? Is it only my mind? Is it only my mind? I got off that bed maybe 3 times in the morning and I said, you know what, 10 minutes again, 5 minutes again. I got up and I showered to make the parsad and I went right back on the bed again. And I'm waiting for my helper who has other important things to do, like drop people and pick up people, and God's parsad will wait. Sukdev Muni, he is about to narrate, but Raja Pariksit, he is sitting. And Raja Pariksit sitting there, Raja Pariksit is reflecting. If you have to reflect on something that makes you happy, that has happened to you in the past, what will that be? Hello? If you have to reflect on something that has happened to you in the past that makes you happy, what will that be? Baba, the day of my wedding. What makes you happy? About that. Hello? That makes you happy? Really? That makes you happy? Don't answer. Maybe that's not the right question. If you have to think about something that makes you sad and causes pain to your heart, what will that be? You all feeling cold? No answer? What will that be? Raja Pariksit is reflecting and something comes to his mind. Listen, these are not the words of Sukdev Muni. These are the thoughts of Raja Pariksit. And listen to what Raja Pariksit is remembering. Hari Om Saraswati Namastubhya Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayana Narayana Jai Govinda Hare Narayana Sri Narayana Jai Gopal Hare भगवते वासुदेवाय। अपने इन अंधकार प्राणियों में जिसमें समय का चूते करने वाले, सुरक्षा का अर्जुन का घर भी का साथ पृथ्वी का चोट चूट करने वाले, अपने अपनों का इसने का दानव बेटे दुख करने वाले, राजा ने कहा है, राजा ने कहा है, वे बेल का मुंड की पूछने करने वाले, अपने का पैर का एक पैर का रहते कमल कमल धंटे का तरह सभी होते। नारायण नारायण जय गोविंद हरे, नारायण श्री नारायण जय गोपाल हरे।
नारायण नारायण जय गोविंद हरे, नारायण श्री नारायण जय गोपाल हरे।
Raja Pariksit one day, sitting on his horse and riding again, Raja Pariksit met with two beings. He met with a cow and he met with a bull. But meeting with them, the cow and the bull, Raja Pariksit noticed that there was something divine and different about these animals. Have you ever met somebody who appears to be divine? Have you ever met somebody who appears to be the opposite of divine? What is the opposite of divine? Have you ever met with somebody that from the time you see them you want to smile? Have you ever met somebody from the time you see them you want to run? Why are you all looking at me? Have you ever met somebody who just gives you comfort? Just by telling them your problems or explaining to them what is happening, and you think that they will bring some kind of resolve. Have you ever met somebody like that? Have you ever met somebody you tell your small problem to and they make it into a mountain? The job of the guru, the job of the pandit is not to make the problem bigger, but to help to make the problem smaller. And sometimes the only way you can make the problem smaller is by keeping out of it. Do you know? Paying no heed to it, keeping out of it, totally. Having no input or output. Meeting this cow and meeting this bull, Raja Pariksit recognized that the bull was in great pain. For he recognized that there was an ex-king standing there. And this king, he was using his weapon and he was beating the legs of the bull. Beating with so much of force, beating with so much of power. What will happen? Listen, it tells us. वाह बलि का मुक्त करने वाले, पूछने का जिस पीर का पैर ऊते करने वाले, देख और कमर डंटे का सफेद करने वाले, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. He noticed that the king who was beating the bull on its leg, the king was dressed in black. What are the qualities that you will associate with black? What qualities will you associate with black? What qualities will you associate with white? That's why when you're praying, you wear light colors, mild colors. Isn't it? The new trend is grey. But the base in grey is what color? The base in grey is what color? Then is grey a positive or negative color? I don't know. I'm just asking for a friend. Color has a lot to do with energy. Do you all know this? Color has a lot to do with if there will be success or if there will be failure. Do you know this? We go with the trend of the Western world, but is it the right thing or the wrong thing? Even the decor in the Bhagwat, you see the color? It is prescribed that colors must be used. What kind of colors? Of course, I'm saying to you, please wear clothes, whether what color you have. The king was wearing black and so beating against the legs of the bull, 3 of the legs were broken and the bull was standing on one leg. The bull's complexion turned pale because of the pain that he was experiencing. And so the paleness could be compared to that of the stalk of the lotus flower. Have you ever seen the color of the lotus flower stalk? Pale. The young lotus flower. And so seeing the paleness on the bull, because the bull is experiencing pain. And so he appears to be pale. Have you ever seen somebody who is really sick? Somebody who is experiencing pain? And you look at them and you say, I could see the pain in your face. Have you ever said that before? Have you ever heard that before? I could see the pain that you're experiencing in your expression on your face. I could look at you and know that you're in pain. And so seeing this, Raja Pariksit stood there and seeing the bull in great pain. Raja Pariksit, what will he do? It tells us. Narayana, Narayana, Jai Govinda Hare. Narayana, Shri Narayana, Jai Gopal Hare. क्या अपने काहू दे भगवान की पैर दे करने वाले, पैर के दे करने वाले. Raja Pariksit looks at the king and he begins to have a conversation with the king. He says, what kind of king are you? A king is supposed to be a person who protects, not destroys, not causes pain, not creates distress. What kind of king are you? What kind of person are you? Hello? What kind of person are you? Auntie Angie, what kind of person are you? Kus, what kind of person are you? Sanjay, what kind of person are you? Anja, what kind of person are you? Rabi, what kind of person are you? Swami, what kind of person are you? But these days a good one. Under pressure. Yeah? Papa, what kind of person are you? Let me tell you about me. I can't tell you about you, you know, because you only good. You see? You only good. But let me tell you about me. I want to sing for you about me. ना मैं भगवान हूँ, ना मैं शैतान हूँ, हर दुनिया जो चाहे समझे मैं तो इंसान हूँ. ना मैं भगवान हूँ, ना मैं शैतान हूँ, हर दुनिया जो चाहे समझे मैं तो इंसान हूँ. Baba, I good you know, I real good. You self is the devil. I only do good and I only do charity and I real good, you know, you self going to hell. Because you can't measure your goodness. Because when how good you think you are, there is somebody who will always think. Life is a competition. The series of your car makes you XL and LLL and my own is $300,000 more than yours, and yours inferior and mine superior. Well, I have news, you know. Mine says carry me where I want to go. At least I don't have to walk in the rain. AD wagon and 4-wheel van. You all know this song? Huh? An intelligent wife will not leave her husband because he has an AD wagon for a 4-wheel van, because she knows that if we work together and we struggle together to achieve, we will appreciate and enjoy even better. Do you know that? I want to tell you something, and I'm going to say this with no apology, and this applies not only to the Katha, but it applies to real life. Anytime a lady could leave her children and her husband to go elsewhere with somebody, and he thinks that she's coming to be an asset, just like she left them, she could leave you. Anytime a husband is giving up on his wife and his children to go to you, and you think that life will be hunky-dory and all smooth sailing, just like he left his family, he would leave you. Because no good husband and no good wife and no good, decent, God-fearing human being will leave their innocent children and maybe bad or not so bad husband and wife and run away. Because long ago, the old people stayed. And you know why they stayed? Because of their what? Their children. The vow, the responsibility that they have to look after the welfare of them. Raja Pariksit looks at the king and he says, "Oh king, who are you? I've never met you before. I've never seen you before. I know all the neighboring kings, but you seem to be strange. Who are you?" And this king, dressed in black, refuses to answer. And as Raja Pariksit begins to talk to him, slowly he begins to move away as though he wants to disappear. Have you ever been in the company of a conversation that you don't want to be in because the conversation affects you directly, so you want to disappear? You want to just move away? Last night, the sister of my guru came, and she came up here on the stage, and Rukmin was standing here, and she came, she said, "I have to touch you." And she held on to my face. She said, "You're sick." She said, "You need to go with me in the back, and we have to eat roti together. They're not feeding you." And I said, "No, I'm trying to lose some weight." She said, "No, you're looking like you have marasmus. Marasmus." I said, "What is that?" I said, "But I'm feeling good." She said, No, I like you when you're moti. I like you when you're fat. I don't like you when you're thin." And I said to her, "Well, if I'm fat, I can't breathe properly and I can't move properly and I might die." She said, "You go dead anyway, fat or thin. Come, let me go and eat the roti." And half an hour she's trying to convince me. And though I want to run from the conversation, where I'm sitting, I can't move. Sometimes where you are seated prevents you from being able to run. In this instance, the king, he's in a position to run, to flee. We're free to choose, but we are not freed from the consequences of our choices and our actions. Always remember that. Goswami Tulsidas Ji writes that in the Ramayana. And so the bull, standing there in great pain, Raja Pariksit says, "Why are you causing harm to a harmless creature? Why are you causing pain to a harmless creature?" And so, uttering these words, what will happen? Standing on one leg, what are the legs of the bull? It tells us. Keshava Madhava Jayadeva Madhusundana.
Keshava Madhava Jayadeva Madhusundana.
Keshava Madhava Jayadeva Madhusundana.
Keshava Madhava Jayadeva Madhusundana.
The four legs of the bull, they are Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. The four legs of the bull. The four legs of the bull, they're Daya. Have you ever heard that word before? Daya. Sauch, Dhan, and Satya. The four legs. And so there is only one leg that the bull is standing on. He's standing on the leg of dharma. Satya means the leg that is broken, the leg of truth is that, we prefer to tell a lie than the truth. You all know that? We choose to tell a lie. We choose to live a lie. We choose to lie about the petty, insignificant things rather than tell the truth. But telling the truth is always the easier thing, isn't it? Souch. What is souch? Souch is cleanliness. You're in a time when you just turn on the shower and you get hot water. In a time when you have an electric toothbrush to just put in your mouth and it's for itself. But do you know, you have to remind some people. Spray a little. You have to remind them. You have to tell them. It have a mouthwash called Corsodil. You ever hear about that? And you tell them, you say, well, I use that. You should try that. And they say, why? My breath smelling? And in your mind you say, oh God. But do you know you try to hint to some people and they watch you like you're talking to the wall? Daya means compassion. We live in a world, in a time where compassion is so... Are we compassionate? We're compassionate selectively. Isn't that true? Hello? Is that true or not? If I ask you to do something right now, you'll drop whatever you're doing and you'll go. Isn't it? If Diana comes and tells you to do the same thing, will you do it? Will you drop everything and go and do it? Maybe Auntie Angie because she like her. Maybe Ishwar because he left me in the kitchen alone. But I'm sure if I ask Mohan, he'll tell you no. I'm sure, Diane, if you say to Mohan, he'll tell you no. But if I tell Mohan, you know what he will do? He will drop everything and everybody and he'll come. I'm sure, with conviction I can tell you that. Dan. What is Dan? What is Dan? Dan is kindness. Showing kindness. And we spoke about that one of the days before. That Dan is not only giving of something physical, but Dan is giving of your time and your energies and your effort. Like last night, Shiva stayed and he washed all the wares. He and Dave. I pretended I didn't know they were any back there because if I went, I had to help, So I pretended that I didn't know. And I waited until I thought that, they'll be done. And then I say, you all need help? And they said, no, we have it under control. And in my mind, I said, thank God. Satyam, Sauch, Daya and Dan. Having compassion, cleanliness, truthfulness and kindness. These are the pillars upon which our dharma stands. These are the pillars upon which the bull is standing. But there is only one leg that the bull is standing on. It is the leg of dharma. Can you imagine the pain that the bull is experiencing? Can you imagine the pain and the distress and the anguish we put those around us under when we don't observe these? Truthfulness and cleanliness and being compassionate. If you are around a person who lies for everything, how will you function? If you are around a person who doesn't give, doesn't know how to be charitable at all, with time, with anything physical, how will you function? If you are in the company of a person who doesn't know or has an appreciation for that word cleanliness, what will happen? How will you function? I go into the kitchen and the first thing I do every time I go there is I start to clean because I get nervous when I see things everywhere. How can you function in a place when everything is everywhere, all over, and you're confused? The place is confused. Then whatever you're cooking might become confused too. Do you know? But do you know some people have wares in their sink from 2 weeks ago? And if you didn't need the bowl to use, you wouldn't go and wash it. This morning, Dave was giving out a lecture. And I stood there and I started to sweat. Because I'm wondering if I fall in the category of being the delinquent. He's saying, my pundit has taught me that no ware should remain in the sink nasty. So you see, before you all leave here tonight, make sure you all know what to do. And I done talk. And in my mind I say, oh God. But tonight this morning I'm telling all of you, before we leave tonight, Dave done talk. He told me and I'm telling you and I'm telling the world, you never go to sleep with nasty wares in your sink. You never go to sleep with your nasty stove. You never do that. It is a pap, it is a sin. Mahalakshmi, please from that place. You never go to sleep and when you're going on the bed, then make it up. So you make your bed, so you shall. You go to bed to rest, not to make it up. By the time you don't shake sheet and make up bed, you wake up. You know that? But if you go to the bed sleepy and the bed is ready for you, then you get in your bed and you begin to, isn't it? Seeing this bull standing on this one leg, Raja Pariksit seeing the bull in great pain, the bull begins to cry. And so crying, Raja Pariksit says, don't worry. Don't worry. Under my rule and in my kingdom, nobody will experience pain. And so I will protect you, Raja Pariksit is saying. Pariksit is saying, I will protect you. But now he's going to protect this bull after the 3 legs are already broken. Somebody ever come to help you do something after you done do it? Huh? And then you look at them and you say, so where you come now for? When I needed you, you were not there. Then why are you showing up now at this time? Not me, huh? Whether when you show up, I will still find something for you to do. Whether when you show up, although I could manage on my own, I still allowing you to do something because that's your karma you're burning out, not mine. And so Raja Pariksit says, there is no need to cry and there is no need to worry. I'm giving you the consolation that in my kingdom, no pain will be caused to anybody. And Raja Pariksit uttering these words, Raja Pariksit, he now begins to question the bull. He begins to tell. What is he saying? Listen. Keshava Madhava Jaya Deva Madhusundana.
Keshava Madhava Jaya Deva Madhusundana.
राजा ने जोर से पुकार करने वाले, जिसमें का नाम बहुत का करने वाले, ब्रह्मदेव का बजो अनंता गोरे का, देने कतोरे का धूम करने वाले, धर्माबे का उतारिया वास्तु का, पांडव राजों का, परीक्षित का करने वाले, परीक्षित का करने वाले। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Raja Pariksit says, it is the duty of a king to protect his disciples. It is the duty of a king to seek the welfare of his disciples. It is the duty of the king not to make his disciples unhappy, but it is also the duty of the king to make sure that they do their duty. It is the duty of the king to make sure that everybody does their duty. Sometimes you have to be reminded of what your duty is, because sometimes we forget. You have to be reminded. It is the duty of a leader to lead not by what he says, but by the example that he sets. It is the duty of the leader to guide not only so that physical enjoyment will come, but spiritual and emotional will come. And so Raja Pariksit, he says, then tell me, in order for me to correct the wrong that has happened, tell me what is the name of this king who was beating you. And so the bull, already terrified, standing on one leg, the bull crying in pain, the bull is refusing to answer the question of Raja Pariksit. Why? Because the bull is afraid. He's afraid because he only has one leg now, the leg of dharma, and so he's afraid to answer. राजा की श्रवण निशार का करने वाले, पूछे का सकते दुख दुख करने वाले, देख और सकते का में नहीं का साक्षी करने वाले, बेर का सुंदर का समा परीक्षिता करने वाले, संतान हो बेर का रूप समझ करने वाले, आपका धर्मा बोलते करने वाले, जिसके का रूप का धर्मा होते करने, जिसमें निर्धन होते करने। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
The bull says, let me introduce myself to you. I can't tell you about the king, but let me tell you about me. My name is Dharma. And so I'm in great pain because now I'm standing only on the principle of Dharma. Truthfulness is gone. Cleanliness is gone. Compassion is gone. And now I'm standing only on the pillar of Dharma. And so I am Dharma. But this cow next to me is Prithvi, the earth. And so she too has manifested. For just as I am experiencing pain, she is experiencing pain. And so Raja Pariksit, hearing this, Raja Pariksit, he says, tell me, what can I do to protect you? I will go in search of that king and I will destroy him so that he will not create pain in the heart and the mind of any other being. And Raja Pariksit goes and he finds the king. And as Raja Pariksit finds this king who is dressed in black, he says, tell me, who are you? And the king replies, I am Kali. My name is Kali Maharaj. Kali means what? Kali comes from that word, Kal, which means black. He says, I am the dark king. I am the king called Kali Maharaj. And so Raja Pariksit says, where do you live? And he says, well, I am in search of a place to live. I am looking for a place to live. Darkness tries to lurk anywhere that there is light. Do you know? People try to bring darkness where they know that there is joy and celebration and happiness. Do you all know that? Hello? Do you know that? People try to bring problems and distress where they know that there are no problems. Do you know this? People try to find faults with things that are perfect. Do you know that? And so Kali, he says, I'm looking for a place to live. And Raja Pariksit says, well, let me tell you something. In my kingdom, there is no place for you. So you need to go away from here. And Kali says, I'm willing to go. But then tell me, where should I go and live? Where will I go and live? Because I want somewhere to live. And Raja Pariksit says, well then Kali, you go and live. Let me tell you where to go. Go in that place where gambling happens. Go in that place and you live. That's why when you go to the casino and the places of gamble, you have no discretion. The king that governs that place makes or creates this illusion that you have no control. That's why gambling is considered to be a mahapapa, great. Let me say that again for people who like to go and they say, well, I'm just going to make a little choke. That's what they say, huh? I'm seeing somebody in the group smiling. And anytime you take your money and you gamble, then you're contaminating your money. That's why money will never stay. You are putting a curse on your wealth. And I say that with no apology. Go and live in a casino. Go live in that place of gambling. Go. Raja Pariksit says, so when I get tired, the King Kali is saying, so when I get tired of that place, where will I go? And he says, go and live. Go and live in Sona. What is Sona? Huh? Go and live in gold. That's why everybody fight. You ever hear about Bera before? Huh? You ever hear about Mohar? It's not Mohar again, you know. It's Sohar now. Gold. Gold. Some people say gold have some kind of devil in it, boy. Huh? A sister will not talk to her sister for the whole life because of a little earring. Because of a little Bera. You all know that? But let me tell you something. You never base your relationship on anything that is gold or material. Never. Never place the worth of a relationship on anything that is material. A few years ago, Shobha, one of her bracelets fell, a gold bracelet. And as it fell on the ground, it fell and it rolled under the car. And she looked at me, she said, how we will get it? I said, well, I am going to tell you how we will get it. But there is a condition. If I go under that car to get it, then it's mine. And if you go under the car, well, you could keep it. She said, well, I really can't go, Pandit, so you go. And then I went under the car and I got it. And I immediately put it on my hand without. And then some months after, wearing it every single day, I took it and I gave it back to her and I said, I want to give you back. This is yours. I just, And she said, no. My word is my word. And I told you that if you got it, it belongs to you. So I want to give you it. And I'm saying, but you have a son and you have a daughter and I want you to give it to them. She said, no, I want to give it to you. I want you to keep it. How much of us will be willing to give up like that? Easy. With ease. You could still remember that little stappa you lost 20 years ago. The little gold stappa. Huh? You could still remember the little earring that you lost 40 years ago. You could still remember that, isn't it? Because such is the value of that thing called gold. How much murtis got broken and you disposed of it? Do you sit down and cry for the murti? Do you remember the murti? Can you remember it? How much of your pictures, the glass got broken, the pictures with the depiction of Lord Hanuman and Mother Durga, and you got rid of it? Do you remember? But you see the gold, the little piece of gold, you remember that, You will never forget that till the minute you're dying, you still remember, hey, I lost my ring. True or not? Hello, is that true or not? And so Raja Pariksit says, go and live in gold. Go. And Raja Pariksit names many different places that Kali will go and live. And so when we listen to the places that Kali will live, Kali says, well, I don't want to stay in there. I'm a king. I'm a ruler. I'm a leader. And so I have to lead. But when I stay in these places, I'm staying there because you have dominated me and it means that you're in charge. A king has to be in charge. The leader has to have authority. Dave say, make sure and wash the wares and don't talk. Huh? I'm sure that everybody is going to remember that until the Bhagwat comes to an end. And in every other function, when you see Dave, you say, God, let me wash the wares. Huh? I'll get buff up. Huh? Because he speaks with authority. And these days he's wearing a janev, so he's speaking with respect and authority. And so, Kali looks at Raja Pariksit and he says, I want to rule, I want to be the king. And Raja Pariksit says, you want to rule? Well, then I'll give you a blessing. The morning session comes with the words of Raja Pariksit to Kali Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate वासुदेवाय। अपने चरण का पेट करने तपस्या का दी, सोच सत्यम दया दान का बीत करने वाले, युग में देख और मर गया होते का स्मरण तेने वाले, सत्य की वचन धर्मा का पृथ्वी पर उनका करने वाले, प्यास में का रक्षा होते करने वाले। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Raja Pariksit says, O Kali, the only time you will be the king and you will be in charge is when I die. You will take control. Raja Pariksit, who now knows that he is going to die, he knows that a dark king is going to take over. And this is creating a disturbance in the mind of Raja Pariksit. Now, while he knows he's going to die, he doesn't want to die because he doesn't want this dark king to take control. For he knows that when the darkness takes control, then everything will be in distress, not only the bull. And he knows that this one leg dharma that the bull is standing on will be in great turmoil. That's why the minute you hear prayers and you hear yagna and you hear Bhagwat, you know what happens? The darkness comes. And the darkness clouds your mind and you say, oh God, so much prayers. And so standing on this one leg, the bull, hearing what has happened, the bull begins to cry even some more. And the cow, Prithvi, Mother Earth, hearing of the Vardhan that Raja Pariksit has given, the King Kali, the cow begins to flee. She's going somewhere. Where will she go? We'll listen to in our 2 o'clock session. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. So let us join in the Havan. As we make the oblations, we will only do the Havan at the main altar. And so we join in the Havan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Sarvadrita Samayuktam Sugandhim Nirmalam Jalam Majpanimyadatta Griyana Parameshwara. Using the flower, place them around the Om Sri Agni Devta Vahyami Stapyami Pujyamscha. Om Sri Vishnave Namah. On the ledge around. Om Sri Vishnave Namah. Sri Agni Devta Sanamiha Gakshay Hatrishtaya Namaha. Pieces of wood. Om Bhurbhuva Swatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhime Yo Yona Prachoryat Swaha Idam Gatridam Namama. Om Bhurva Swatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhime Yo Yona Prachoryat Idam Gatridam Namama. Om Bhurva Swatat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhime Yo Yona Prachoryat Idam Gatridam Namama. Om Prajapataye Namah.
Swaha.
All of you are fine. We don't have enough. Om Indra Namah.
Swaha.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namah.
Swaha.
Indi. Om Vishnave Namah.
Swaha.
Om Rudra Namah.
Swaha.
Om Somaraja Namah.
Swaha.
Om Vishnave Namah.
Swaha.
Om Bho.
Swaha.
Om Bhva.
Swaha.
Om Jana.
Swaha.
Om Tapa.
Swaha.
Om Satyam.
Swaha.
Om Bhargo Devasya Dhime Yo Yona Prachoryat.
Swaha.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Swaha.
Om Namo Hanumanta Namah.
Swaha.
Om Suryadinogra Devta Namah.
Swaha.
Om Ishta Devta Namah.
Swaha.
Om Grama Devta Namah.
Swaha.
Om Sthana Devta Namah.
Swaha.
Om Dastikpa Devta Namah.
Swaha.
Om Sarve Bhyu Deve Bhyu Namah.
Swaha.
Om Hari Markat Markata Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Lakshmi Ganapate Namah. Om Lakshmi Ganapate Namah. Om Lakshmi Ganapate Namah. Om Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Brahmanebhyo Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanaya Vidme Vasudevaya Nami. Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. Trayambakam Yajamai Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhana Prityor Mokshamamritat. Om Nase Rupa Hari Sabapira Japatani Nantara Hanumatavira Sankatase Hanuman Churave Man Karma Vachanara Nirolave. Om Hari Markat Markatanama Swaha. Om Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai Kripa Karo Gurudeva Kinai Joshadavar Patikaroi Jute Vandima Sukoi Hari Markat Markatanama Swaha. Achman. Om Gangesha Yamunishchaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmada Sindhu Kaveni Achmanam Brati Gretam Achmanam Samarpyami Achmanam Vinyogaha Vanaspatirar Surabhuto Gandharyo Ganaduttamagre Sarvarevanam Dhupoyam Brati Gretam. We all stretch my hands. Om Yani Kani Japapani Jammantargatanischa Tani Tani Prakshana Prakshana Prare Prare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Just the thought that Kali, this dark king, will rule makes Mother Earth frightened, makes Mother Earth worried. Just the thought that this dark king will take control makes Dharma cry even more. And the pain that was already being experienced now becomes even more painful. Can pain become more painful? Can pain become more painful? Have you ever gotten a cut or a graze somewhere and it is hurting you, and then somebody who doesn't know that you have this come and hold you right there? The pain that you're already experiencing now becomes more painful. Why? Because more pressure has been applied. Dharma is under pressure because Dharma is holding up the bull. But now when this dark king takes control, the dark king who has already destroyed the other three legs will become the ruler. Then what do you think he will do with Dharma? What do you think will happen to Dharma? That's why Scripture has declared that in this age that we live in, because when Raja Pariksit dies, the dark king becomes the ruler and the age of Kali Yuga will begin. But in the age of Kali Yuga, Scripture has declared, is the easiest age to gain mukti, salvation. But you know what happened? Because Kali is in charge, he prevents you based on the maya, the illusion that he creates around, trying to deter you all the time from treading onto the pathway of Dharma, the pathway of righteousness. Yesterday, after 2 o'clock session, a lady came to the back and she looked at Dave and I and she said, "This place is a nice place, boy." She said, "This place is a place that you not only for prayers, you could have a little party and thing too." And I looked at her and I said to her, "I want to tell you, but don't get upset with me. But do you know that we don't only have prayers here? We have our parties here too. Because life was made so that we will enjoy. God created everything for our enjoyment, for our pleasure. But we have become fanatics of the things that you are not supposed to become fanatic of. There is a time to play and there is a time to... Every praying soul, there is a time when you set yourself free, isn't it? There is a time that whether how much diet you're on, you just feel to eat pizza and aloo pie and if you are like me and you voice the people like this who love you, then you know you get aloo pies is. And then they would not only make it for me, but they will make it for... My point is that when the time comes to pray, it is not for me only, but it is for... And when the time comes to enjoy, it is not enjoyment for me only, but it is enjoyment for... And when the time comes to cry, it is not crying for you or me only, it is crying for... And when there is something to celebrate, celebrating is not only for you or for me, it is for everybody. And when the time comes that we could create an opportunity to pray and to get salvation, it is not only for me, but it is for... It is not only for you, but it is for everybody. And it is the duty of a good leader to create every possible avenue so that we will all gain salvation together. Not selflessly or not selfishly, but togetherly in one accord. The bull, hearing that Kali will take charge, Prithvi immediately she begins to run. She is frightened. She is terrified. When you are frightened, when you are terrified, where will you run to? Who will you run to? Where will you go? If you're at home and you are terrified, where will you go? They look at me and they say, the front room is yours. I say, not me. Anybody come, the front room is the first room, not me. They say, where you will go? I say, I want to choose my location. I don't even want you to know where I am. Don't find me. Don't call me. Don't look for me. I am absent when you're looking for me. She got up this morning. She said, how did you sleep? I say, I sleep like I'm dead. She said, well, you're lucky to be up. If you're almost dead in your sleep. Tonight, this morning, the bull is standing on one leg, and Prithvi, the earth, she begins to run out of fear. Where will she go? Our 2 o'clock session will tell us. Satya Sanatan Dharma ki kara ho jaye, aarti lijiye. Let's all stand for the aarti. Shubham karotu kalyanam, arogyam sukha samparam, ma shatru vinashaya, deepa jyotir namostute, ya devi sarva bhuteshu, तया रूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
हे अमर गंतये मुक्ति पंतये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला
हे अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला
वरदान यही,
वरदान यही, वरदान यही।
जग की मंगल की आरती,
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती,
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत, पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत, पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये सुख करनी हे दुख हरनी,
ये सुख करने ये दुख हरने।
ये मधुसूदन की आरती,
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती,
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत कोल, सनमार दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
ये मधुर बोल जगपन्न कोल, सनमाद दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम ही घनश्याम यही,
श्री राम यही, घनश्याम यही।
सबके महिमा की आरती,
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती,
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम,
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
हरि ओम असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। मंत्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं जनार्दन, यत्पूजितं मया परिपूर्णं तनस्तवे। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय,
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय,
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
उमापति महादेव की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, अयोध्या राम लला की जय, वृंदावन
कृष्णचंद्र की जय, पुरीसा जगन्नाथ की जय, मनोहर हरसंघल की जय, सियापति रामचंद्र की जय शरणम।
वृंदावन लाल की जय, सीताराम 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 कहे, जाहे बेधिरा के रामा, जाहे बेधिरा के रामा, ताहे बेधिरा हे। सीताराम सीताराम। सत्य सनातन धर्म की, वृंदावन में हरिलाल की। Shiva will come and sing for us a bhajan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sintra will sing this bhajan. We dedicate this bhajan to all of those who are viewing us in their homes. We want to remind you that though it is on television, we want you to come and join with us. Our next session begins at 2 o'clock, and then our night session begins at 7 o'clock. And so you're free to come and spend the day with us. When you come in the morning, you don't need to rush to go home. You know, come and spend the day with us. And let us all take a divine bath in the lake of the Bhagwat Mahapran. Satya Sanatan Dharma ki Jai. Shri Radhe Govinda, मन भजने हरि का प्यारा नाम रे.
मोर मुकुट सिर कर बनमाला केसर तिलक लगाए,
केसर तिलक लगाए.
मोर मुकुट सिर कर बनमाला केसर तिलक लगाए,
केसर तिलक लगाए.
वृंदावन में कुंज गलन में सबको नाच खाए, वो सबको नाच खाए. श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है.
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजने हरि का प्यारा नाम रे.
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला,
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला.
यमुना किनारे थे मचुरावे माधव मरन मुरारे,
माधव मदन मुरारे.
यमुना किनारे थे मचुरावे माधव मरन मुरारे.
माधव मदन मुरारे.
मधुर मुरलिया छवि बजावे हरले सुर गुर सारे,
ओ हरले सुर गुर सारे.
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है.
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजने हरि का प्यारा नाम रे.
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला,
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला.
गिरधर नागर कहती मेरा सूरज श्यामल भावे,
सूरत श्यामल भाया.
गिरधर नागर कहती मेरा सूरज श्यामल भावे.
सूरत श्यामल भावे.
शुक्र नाम और नाम देव में विठल विठल गाए,
ओह वित्तल वित्तल काए.
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है.
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजने हरि का प्यारा नाम रे.
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला,
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला.
राधा शक्ति बिना न कोई श्यामल दर्शन पावे,
श्यामल दर्शन पावे.
राधा शक्ति बिना न कोई श्यामल दर्शन पावे.
श्यामल दर्शन पावे.
आराधन कर राधे राधे कान्हा भागे आवे,
ओह कान्हा भागे आवे.
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है.
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजने हरि का प्यारा नाम रे.
गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है, नंद लाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है.
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजने हरि का प्यारा नाम रे.
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है. जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला,
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला.
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला.
वृंदावन लाल की जय. Until we meet 2 o'clock again, Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai.
Sankhya Television is not only the first Hindu TV station in Trinidad and Tobago, but Sankhya TV also has the most coverage, where viewers enjoy Sankhya Television on Flow Channel 117, Green Dot Channel 13, Digicel Play Channel 7.
Jai Sitaram and Namaste everyone. Join me